there, Estes Valley. This is Karen from the program department at the Estes Valley Library. And I'm coming to you live from what I've considered my own maker space. I don't know if you were at the library before we closed, almost last week now. But we have a makerspace program or a makerspace room available. We've got, a laser engraver, a laser cutter, 3D printer. We have a serger or sewing machines, but those are all kind of a way for us right now. But we also wanted to encourage people in that makerspace to be as crafty and creative as possible. This spring, one of the things that I was hosting was some upcycled crafts. I hosted a taking old maps and old atlases and wrapping them around picture frames that we found at the thrift store. And so today I wanted to offer a program, things that I have around the house that maybe I could take that instead of throwing them away, I could maybe use them to decorate. So what I found, and I'm going to put this in the comments here in just a second. Actually, I'll put it in at the end. I don't want to distract myself from this. I've got this tin can, and you see all those little holes in it? I've made this into a little lantern that I can put a little tea light in and light it up and, decorate. I put it in my bathroom last night just to have a little extra relaxation when I was taking the bath. So a couple of things that you would need. A can. I made chili this weekend because it's long lasting and full of protein. So I've got a bunch of cans, which I'm glad for because I made a few mistakes while I was doing this. I've got a whole bunch of like pokey things, so nails and screws. And I needed to have something that I was going to copy and trace, and so I've got some paper, and I'll show you what I'm about to do here in a second. So anyway, so I'm thinking about, okay, so I've got a can, I've emptied the can, I've washed it, I've let it dry overnight, and actually before I even make any of the holes in it, I fill it with water and I put it in the freezer. The first time I did this, I didn't do that, and I smashed the can to smithereens with a hammer. So after doing a little research, and now I'm offering that pro tip to you, fill it with water, I'll let it freeze overnight, and that's the sample that I'm going to use not too long from now. Okay, so then I need to come up with some sort of a pattern. Now, I don't have a printer at home, but I do have paper, and I do have a pen. So if I'm creative and I want to sketch out some drawings or something like that, totally could do that. I'm not that creative. I'm a crafter. I'm definitely not an artist. So I've got this can of spray. I'm going to make a circle around that. Super easy like that. Got that. If you have a bigger can, like I was thinking, if you wanted to use like a coffee can or something like that, one of those nice big, I don't even know what they're called, 5-pound whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Those big cans. Got some really creative bottles and jars around your house. You could use something as tiny and things like that. So I've got one circle here, and I've got a couple other ones that I made earlier that I'm going to tape on. So without further ado, I'm going to hit to my freezer. I'm going to get that can I was telling you about. All right, there it is, frozen solid. It's freezing cold. So that's a nice feeling on my hands. And to protect my counter, I just pulled a couple of oven mitts here. And I'm going to take that, and I'm going to find the nicest edge. Because you have that like spot right there. I didn't really want to do any washing or anything along those lines. So that's fine. I just wanted to get this going. So I'm going to find the nicest spot. I've got just some Scotch tape. I'll show you here in just a second what I'm doing. I also have some packaging tape already cut and ready to go just because I'm working on frozen metal. So let's see if the Scotch tape worked on my demo that I did by myself. So you can see I did that. And I'm just going to making a pattern. You can go all the way around if you wanted to. Let's see if I can find that packaging tape here. All right, so I'm going to put that on here. maybe I can make some sort of, I can overlap some things, add that to it. Because ultimately what I'm just trying to do is add a pattern that I can follow. In just a minute here, I'm going to use a nail, and I just use this tape, a nail and a hammer, and I'm gonna try maybe a good time to get a little frustration out from maybe a long day of staying at home or whatever it is. So there it is. I've got some tape and my design around there, and I found a nice big hardy nail in my basement. It did take me a while to find it. I also found a roofing nail, so if I wanted to make some thicker holes, I could do that. Obviously, the thicker the hole, the more light's going to come out. And then I got these tiny, tiny little nails. Not too interested in using those because those are too hard to hold. So here we go. Unfortunately, the people, my videographer group didn't show up today, so I'm just going to do this here, and I'm going to show you a few hits as I go along, so I don't have to, can't hold everything at once. What I have learned is if you start at the top, you can avoid some of the melting that might happen. And then I also noticed that too, you're kind of hitting it pretty hard and it's going to chunk out right there. So there's a few of the holes that I have. I'm going to continue right along, do a few more here so you can see that. I'm wondering in the comments section if anyone's interested in doing some other crafts or has any other ideas that we could work on together. Pinterest has become my new best friend, so definitely keeping the boredom away. So I'm just kind of putzing right along so you can kind of see what it's looking like here. Sometimes I forget where the web camera is in my computer. And I am making some chunks of ice on my counter. So definitely if you've got paper, you don't want to have that ruined or something like that, have a nice big clear workspace for yourself. Let's see here. I wanted to promote some other programming that we have coming up as I'm also hammering and trying not to hurt myself here. On our EssesValleyLibrary.org website, you would go on the left side and you can see a giant laundry list of programming that we have coming available. Tomorrow I'm hosting a program on video chats and any tips that you have on that. So now that we're trying to find ourselves in social distancing, then I wanted to promote some of the video chat platforms that I've used in the past. A question we have about, do you pull the nail out after each hit? I do. So I'm just kind of, like I said, I'm making a little pattern here. So that's what is looking like. You can kind of see the holes in there at the bottom and top. And then here's the template that I've created. And then I would put that back on afterwards. Like I said, I'm working with frozen cans, so it's really freezing cold on my hands right now. Okay, so that's my sample that I'm going to put away. I'm probably going to keep working on that after I'm done with my program here so I don't waste it, because once that ice melts, that's it. I can't fill it up again because all the water is going to fall out. And then if you hit it, it's going to smash it to smithereens, as I learned the hard way yesterday. So with that, there is my tin can with my, let's see if I can add a picture. I don't know if I'm going to be able to add a picture here while I'm loading this at the same time. I don't think so. So anyway, that's what my project is for today. And like I said, I'll have the final product of what it looks like with a candle in a few minutes here. Also, like I mentioned, other programming. So video chat. We're going to get a chance to look at or practice some FaceTime and Google Hangouts with some other program team members, so we can get a sense of what their work life is like at home right now, and see how easy it is to use those mediums. And then we've still got some story times happening. And I know that I've got some programming in the works, kind of partnering with the Stitching Den to see if we can host some knitting clubs and knitting programs, trying to be as creative as possible when it comes to virtual interactions with each other during this time of our little pandemic that's happening across the world. So with that, I'm going to close out. Like I said, I'll post the picture, and like I said, if you have any other comments or questions or suggestions for upcoming programming, whether it happens to be something creative and crafty based like this or something different along those lines, just leave it in the comments and we'll be in touch. All right, thank you. Have a good day.